welcome back to the End of the Fourth Football Podcast. It is me, your host, B-Hizzy, aka Brendan Hurst, and I am joined, as always, by Prez, the Prez. Chris Mullany, how are you doing, man?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
Well, we are here to, we've recovered from the whatever the hell that was last night on Thursday Night Football.
Yes, I mean, I think I would rather have had my nose hairs plucked. You know, honestly, it was depressing.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate thing all around, really. Obviously, the Colts ran it as 12-9 overtime winners over the Denver Broncos. Not a single touchdown scored. I think that the team should be fined a draft pick for that. You can't score one touchdown. If the game produces one touchdown, as long as one team scores a touchdown, that's fine, right? The other team does, only have one team has to. I think you should forfeit a draft pick if both teams don't score in it. Maybe like a fourth round pick.
It was depressing to watch.
Did you see the guy that? Yeah, well, I commend you for that. I fell asleep twice during the first quarter. Got to the second, got halfway through, and finished my kind of monster. I thought, I just go to bed. This is terrible. This is the worst game I possibly have ever watched.
The worst. Do you know the worst part of that game?
Mm-hmm.
It went to overtime.
Yeah, it was like we decided you needed more. The football gods decided we needed more of that. So I don't have any numbers. I don't have any notes. I want to talk about how bad that was. And you got to think Al Michaels and the crew on Thursday Night Football have got to be raging. Amazon paid $1 billion to secure the exclusive rights for Thursday Night Football, and they've just been getting, crap shoot after crap shoot. Yeah.
And next week is I'm you can tell I'm so thrilled for next Thursday. It's the Bears and the Commanders.
Maybe we should just pretend that Thursday Night Football doesn't happen on this show.
By the way, I'm not being funny, but now that we've said that, next week's going to be something like a 34-31 shootout.
Probably something like that. That's one I don't want to pick. I'm glad we don't have to do it for another week yet. Right, well, let's talk about this game, I suppose. There's not really much to say. Both offenses, useless.
That's dreadful.
Yep. Special teams worked, I suppose, though. That was always a good thing.
Yeah.
The punts and the kicks. I mean, I don't know if I'm pretty sure everybody knew this was going to be a ham and egg or stink fest, and sure enough, it was. Yeah,
it was very poor. To be honest, the massage person at Denver and Indianapolis, they'll need to give them the punter a bit of a massage now.
Yeah. I've heard Deshaun Watson's changing to be a punter with that logic.
Come on now.
Was that a bit low-hanging fruit?
Yes, that was. We've discussed him. Let's not mention him until week 13.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But it was honestly, I mean, I stayed up and watched it, hoping something was going to happen. But I mean, I sent you 3 words to describe that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the two of them were brilliant. The two things I sent you.
That was very good, yeah.
I worked all afternoon on that.
Would you like to say what words they were?
I thought the first one was Nathaniel can't hack it.
Yep.
As a sort of
very, very good
name.
Nathaniel,
and then another one is
it. Yeah.
Another one has got to definitely be no touchdownless, clueless, jobless.
You really got to wonder if Nathaniel Hackett is on the hot seat. I think it's painfully obvious to a lot of people that he could have done with maybe another year as a coordinator. But to be honest, I don't put all the blame on him for last night. You got to put a lot of this on Russell Wilson, who was rubbish. 2 picks, just useless from start to finish, really. And you just wonder, did Seattle see a declining, aging quarterback that doesn't trust his legs to run anymore?
See, there was a few times last night Russell Wilson actually did take off. There was about 4, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 times he actually took off, or he jumped outside the pocket, made a fantastic completion, and the laundry got flung.
Yeah.
Holding. I mean,
How's this not been coached out of their game by now? It's 5 weeks now. This kind of thing, it just can't continue.
I thought that, Nathaniel Hackett, I mean, a lot of people at Denver as Super Bowl champions.
Mm-hmm. I had to make the playoffs, but I don't think so. They're nowhere near good enough.
No, definitely not. Not in that division, and especially because obviously they lost last night.
Mm-hmm.
I fancy the Chargers to win on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I do fancy that. One of the teams has to win on Monday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know there's a possibility of a tie, but
this is Patrick Mahomes on prime time we're talking about. Look, I think to be honest, the Broncos have got hope for some favors from other teams. They've got hope the Browns can beat the Chargers, and I think, to be honest, they've got to hope that the Raiders can beat the Chiefs to keep it within shooting distance. But then they go tied on the division, and it's just not a nice situation all around for Denver. So yeah, but the one thing I was confused about, and I don't know if I missed this or whatever, was their decision to go for it on 4th and 1 in overtime, down 3, right at the end of overtime. You think, look, with the struggles that the teams had in the red zone this season, let alone the red zone, you got to think, why on earth are they not just kicking it? So,
I'm going to put my head coach's hat back on here.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they went for it is because if they go for it
mm-hmm.
and they get it, great.
Mm-hmm.
If they kick it through the posts,
mm-hmm.
technically all Indianapolis have to do, so they kick a touchback. Technically all Indianapolis have to do is drive 45 yards.
But do you trust that Colts offense to do that in that situation? I don't know if you do. With what they put up all night, you got to look at the pattern that they put up all night. They could only manage 3 field goals. Matt Ryan was chucked all over the park. You just, I think that's totally a safe option. Yeah, you're going to maybe get a tie, and that's will be 2 ties for one team, which I am vehemently against. But, this is professional football. These guys are paid so much money, and to see a slop fest like that last night, it's just, that's the kind of game that puts people off the NFL. Do you know what I mean? They tune in, they're maybe on night shift, maybe like you, they're on Amazon Prime watching, looking for something to watch while at work, and they think, oh, American football, whatever, I'll chuck that on. They see that and they think, I'm never watching this ever again. So it annoys me. And, I think you're right. Next week isn't going to be any better. Bears, Commanders.
Yes, well, let's hope for Sunday's entertainment to be a bit better.
Yes, well, let's hope so. Obviously, Naheem Hines went off early in the game with what looked like a concussion. Looked very similar to what happened to Tua against the Bills, just basically flopped straight down to the ground. So not a good look, but they did keep him out. And I suppose it paid off because they did win. So, yeah. But not impressive for either of these teams. And I think the card is, you can rip up the playoff card for both of them, to be honest.
I would say so. I think the only thing that maybe goes in the Colts' favour is that division.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wee bit of anybody who really can win that.
Yeah, except the Texans.
Well, you never know.
Mm. We'll see. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Right. Well, we'll take a break, and then when we're back, we will discuss the Sunday slate of games. All right, then. Sunday is down. Sunday week 5 is finished, and we have games to talk about. Chris, are you excited?
Very. Where would we like to start? How
we shall
start in London.
In London, yes. Well, let me just put it in a couple of words. I'm very glad I didn't get tickets to that crapshoot.
I thought it was amazing.
Giants win 27-22 at Tottenham Hotspur against the Green Bay Packers, who
I did say Giants plus 9.5.
Yeah, you did, but you did take the Packers to win. So
I did take the Packers to win. I thought Aaron Rodgers would have done something.
You just kind of looked to me that the Packers came into this game with the attitude of, I can't believe we have to go and do this. And would you believe it? They played like it as well. But I think we're going to be fine. There's going to be teething problems with this, right? But that doesn't take away the fact that that was just that's probably the ugliest performance in Matt LaFleur's regular season career since taking over for the Packers. Like, there's been a lot of games we've just been blown out of, but I don't think, we've ever given away a lead like that. We've never been so heavily favored in a game like that. And a lot of it just goes down to, you've got, right, we need to have a conversation about Joe Barry. This defense is far, far too many players to be, talented players to be performing too badly. That were this badly.
Pick me. Didn't you say, and I quote, this Packers defense is amazing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah. There's a lot of great names on this offense. There's a lot of guys which are maybe in, top 5, top 10 of their positions on this Packers defense. And the fact that it's performing so badly is just not good at all. Like I read a stat and it said we've allowed like the 5th least or 2nd least number of passing yards through 5 weeks in the NFL. I think it's like 800 odd. But we've allowed the most on crossing routes, which is what the Giants figured out, and they just shredded us on crossing routes all day. You can't allow the Giants, this banged up Giants offense that had a lot of key players which weren't playing, 338 yards of offense. Just can't happen. It's a recipe for disaster.
Well, I'm waiting for you to finish your rant. So
I'll keep going. Yeah, I think that Matt LaFleur's got to take a lot of blame for this one. Play calling was absolutely pathetic from him yesterday. They abandoned the run in the second half. And like people say, like that's the Packers' identity, right? We need to clarify that's not going to solve all of the ills, right? It doesn't matter if you could run the ball, but if the defense plays that badly, we would have lost the game 27-26 yesterday instead. You know what I mean? So regardless, it doesn't really matter. But abandoning the run when the two backs were averaging 4 yards per carry, 5.1 yards per carry going into the game, just ridiculous. Especially when they kept drawing up deep shots for Aaron Rodgers, 0 for 6 on deep passes. And they just kept trying to hit receivers that they just don't have. They don't have the downfield threat. They let Marquise Valdes-Scantling leave in free agency, and Al Lazard, for as good as he is, he's not a downfield threat. Randall Cobb, not a downfield threat. You think Christian Watson would fill that, but he's still, he left the game with a hamstring injury, and he struggles to really make an impression in games. I don't think he had more than a catch yesterday before leaving. And I think it kind of is all summed up like this: is Daniel Jones had 10 carries yesterday, AJ Dillon had 6, and that can't happen. It's been drilled into all offseason. The identity of this Packers offense is we're going to run the ball. We have two, easily, the top 2 running back tandem, easily a top 5 in the league. And to just freeze them out of the game plan again, like we did in week 1, you could probably say to a factor we did it last week versus the Patriots. And, when Aaron Jones fumbled in Tampa, we went away from the run again. So, you just got to trust. And Aaron Jones said after the game, you could put a lot of money on trusting either him or AJ Dillon to pick up 2 yards in 2 downs. Just seems very, very crazy to me. But credit where it's due. Daniel Jones was absolutely immense. Probably his best game passing as a pro. 21 for 27, 217 yards.
Forget that full stat. Mm-hmm. There was 2 points. Saquon Barkley left the game. Mm-hmm. Daniel Jones went something like 15 for 17. Mm-hmm. Completed, I think it was something like 6 out of 7 third downs. Mm-hmm. One of those was 3rd and 9, and the other was 3rd and 14. Yeah, and the Packers
hadn't allowed a conversion on over 3rd and 7 this season so far.
Now the rule is protect the sticks. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care. I mean, put 11 guys along the line. Who cares? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just got to make sure you got off that field, and the Packers didn't. I just think we said it in the off-season. I just think that Daniel Jones obviously knows that this could be his final year as a Giant. Mm-hmm. The way he's playing just now, he could end up easily getting another year extension.
Yeah, I think so. They could sign him 1 year prove it deal if you can, if the Giants make the playoffs this year, which is possible. I think they're for real. They didn't give up. and they were battered and they were bruised, and they took down this Packers team, which really should have ran away with it, to be quite honest. And I think the game is really just a microcosm of Aaron Rodgers' career. Spectacular at the beginning, which equates to the regular season, but pretty awful when it matters the most. And, on outside of two, maybe 5 throws on that final drive, the second half, he wasn't very good. First half, he was fine, but I just think, there's a lot of soul searching to be done with this Packers offense and defense, to be honest. And, I think there's not many places you could start than, throwback week at Lambeau against the Jets, but we'll see.
Well, I'll let you. We can move on from the Packers and let's talk about other teams.
Let's do it. All right, we'll check in on your friend Kenny Pickett, shall we?
Bills. I felt so sorry for him. I really did. It's like basically they gave the guy a water pistol against a team full of bazookas.
Yep.
I mean, what the hell's the kids expected to do? I think is it 2 weeks' time, not next Sunday, the Sunday after, is Steelers Miami. I've got a Steelers fan coming on.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I was talking to him last night about it. I like Kenny Pickett. You know I like Kenny Pickett, but he needs a lot of help.
We want the guy, I'm in agreement with you. I want the guy to succeed, but I just think that this was I don't know. I think you go into this game with Mitch Trubisky and you think Mike Tomlin's overthinking it. But at the same time, do you really want to, we said this on the previous show, do you really want to literally throw your rookie quarterback into the proverbial frying pan?
What is he supposed to do? I mean, it's not as if, different if it was maybe, against the Jets or, and that's what different to the Jets or, against the Texans or something, but it was arguably the best team in football.
Yeah, it's literally a baptism by fire.
I mean, I would have, if I was Tomlin, I'd have played Trubisky and gone, right, we're going to get battled here. Let's be realistic.
Let's just get him the reps.
But, he basically threw the young kid in there. Whether he threw the young kid in there to try and outsmart, arguably, in my opinion, the best defensive coach in football right now. I mean, I think this is a long year for Pittsburgh, and I mean, if we were drafting tomorrow, they'd be picking number 2.
Number 2, yeah. There you go. It says a lot.
Which, for Pittsburgh, isn't actually bad. Because 1 and 2 is C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. They don't need a quarterback.
They can trade down.
Trade the thing for multiple picks and players. I mean, there's at least 4 or 5 teams in this league will give you 5 and 6 picks for that second pick.
Yep, definitely.
And I think, I'm not saying tank right now, but within my opinion, I think right now Carolina's tanking. I think Pittsburgh will try and be competitive, but there's not an awful lot there.
Yeah, no, I think what didn't really help is the Bills' offense just kind of set the tone from the beginning of the game. They were on their own 2-yard line, and then Josh Allen hit a strike to Gabe Davis for 98 yards and a touchdown. And that's just, you take the top of the defense in a situation like that, it's just really going to set the tone for, morale more than anything. It's hard to bounce back to. That's not just a punch in the mouth. That's like that's a shotgun to the teeth. That's what that is. So, and really, you have to be critical of the Steelers here. They just can't function with it. TJ Watt. Josh Allen was only pressured 3 times and wasn't sacked once. The Steelers defense just a completely lost unit right now. That was perceived to be their strength going into the year, is they have a lot of good playmakers on defense, but if they can't work properly without one player, maybe that unit was never good to begin with. And I just think that's I agree with you. That's what's really going to make this year such a long one for the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, but we know what Pittsburgh Steelers fans are like. They'll they'll beat the Ravens in week, whatever.
Whenever,
yeah, and it'll be, we're brilliant again. Well, no, you're not. You fluked it,
Yeah.
I mean, one player doesn't make a defense, or one player doesn't make a team. But I think with Steelers, without TJ Watt, they're nothing.
Yeah. All right, then. Well, we'll head over to their AFC North rivals, where they fell 30-28 to the the Los Angeles Chargers. That's the Cleveland Browns we're talking about. I thought Austin Eckler was pretty good. 16 carries, 173 yards and a touchdown. He also had four catches and 26 yards and a receiving touchdown. I mean, I think he has been the Chargers' identity over the last 2 weeks, especially, but through this early portion of the season, he's been very important to them, like running the ball or moving the ball ahead. I don't really have much else to say about this game other than I think the Chargers nearly charged this game up again. Going for it on 4th and 1 at their own 36, I don't think that was a bad call, you could say, but I just don't really think it was necessary. Obviously, they didn't convert, and it basically made squeaky bum time. Now, luckily, the defense held up, but against another team with a more talented offense, maybe that goes a different way. And Keenan Allen even disagreed from home, so I don't know if that tells you everything. So Brandon Staley's got stones. Is proof that he's had to defend a lot of his 4th down decisions to go for it, like in the past year. But I think this wasn't a bad decision; it just was unnecessary and could have been punished by another team.
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying. There's nothing wrong with going for it in 4th and 1, but I think you have to look at field position as well. I think, but it's a wee bit like when you're 4 and 1 on the 50-yard line. You can't kick a field goal. You can't punt it.
Yep.
So realistically, you have to go for it.
Yeah.
But yes, Chargers have got the win, and of course, it keeps them alive in that AFC West. And of course, I got another lock right this week.
That is right. Yep. So that's 3. Is that 3 in a row for you? No, it's 3 in a row for me. But yes, you did get your lock right, and our guests got their lock wrong. So it's a game on in the locks competition. That's the next game we'll cover, so we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, we did give fun score predictions for this one. It's not like it's not anything we're keeping track of, but I don't really know who was closest. Probably me. I said 27-20 Chargers. You said 23-14 Chargers. So yeah. I don't know. Not much in it. But regardless, Chargers win, but I think they are feeling the effects of being being pretty banged up, to be honest. There's a lot of players that they're missing out with right now, and that's really going to affect come December when the Chiefs are printing division champions t-shirts again. So
wait a minute, whoa. We don't know yet. We discovered tonight. I said, and I stick by it. Whoever wins tonight wins the division.
So that's the sound cap. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna start doing it. But yes,
how does that help Trevor?
All right, well, we'll talk about Trevor. And that's a disappointing one to drop right there. 13-6 to the Texans in Jacksonville. In honesty, I don't think this was a particularly bad performance, especially from the Jags offense, but they just couldn't finish. They 422 total yards of offense, 22 first downs, but only 6 points, and just 3 points on 3 red zone possessions. That's a recipe for you can't win with football like that.
No, definitely not. And that's the thing. I mean, we obviously we've discussed it lots of different times, and you could have the best offense in the world, got to put the thing in the end zone. And I think yesterday Jacksonville didn't.
Bit of a turnover bug going on with Trevor. He had is it 2 picks yesterday and a fumble, something like that.
But I have to take my hat off though to Dameon Pierce. He's looking like a decent find.
He is a player. Very happy got him on fantasy. I knew it.
Well, we'll speak about fantasy soon. I'm quite looking forward to fantasy to talk. But yesterday, I think Jacksonville didn't turn up, and if you can't beat teams like the Texans, you don't deserve to. You don't deserve to be even talking about playoffs, in my opinion. But maybe we obviously will have to look at next week and see if it was a blip or whether it was whether it's a start of a slide. I hope it's a blip.
I think the division is still wide open. None of the teams are particularly convincing, so this could just be a blip. Maybe something Trevor Lawrence gets over next week. So we'll see. and I'm looking forward to it. Other analysis on this game is Derek Stingley had his first career interception. He'd played very well through the first 4 weeks. Yeah, it was very good. He'd played very well through his first 4 weeks, and got rewarded with his first career interception on Trevor Lawrence yesterday. So very, very good showing from him. He's been a very good pick at number 3 so far.
Yeah, he was a tiny corner coming out of the draft, but it doesn't matter doesn't matter about height. It's about, can you catch the thing?
Exactly. All right, well, we're blazing through this. We're doing really well. Bears 22, Vikings 29. Now, I'm Jake has kind of like made me a little bit self-aware. He's given me a bit of a complex to my analysis of the Vikings. So I really am trying to be less biased, but I just think this Vikings team is so vulnerable, right?
Jealous.
They should have.
Jealous.
Maybe so, right? I think they're going to win the division. But I think they're very 2019 Packers to me. There's a blueprint to working them out of their groove. They need something to go their way. And then luckily this was a 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins game.
Yeah,
as you say, there is real logic behind that. But I think Minnesota is really, really vulnerable. They should have blown this Bears team out of the water. I think Jake, our friend of the show, Jake, would attest to that as well. He would agree. They allowed Justin Fields to get comfortable, and the Bears scored on 4 straight possessions in the second half. Which Bears offense, Justin Fields can't throw. You can't be doing things like that. And maybe on another day, it goes a different way. One thing I want to talk about is that it's like not very impressive to me that the Vikings have had their first 3 divisional games have all been at home.
Oh, Adams. Oh, the world's against them. Oh no.
I'm just saying. If it was the Packers that had 3 games at Lambeau against the division at the beginning of the season, they'd be a little bit upset at that.
No, you wouldn't. Don't talk crap.
No, they would be. The Vikings fans would be.
You're just jealous because you traded away Kirk Cousins for a wideout who's injured.
For now. Once he comes back, Keenan Allen comes back, and that Chargers offense is clicking, I'm gonna win that trade.
Well, you haven't won it yet.
Well, Keenan Allen never switches off if it's not a game that's at 4 p.m. or 1 p.m. or 4 p.m. So
Kirk Cousins is like The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch The Exorcist on a freezing cold December night in pitch black, it's scary. You watch it the next day when the sun's shining and the curtains are open. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not that scary.
It's a good way to do it, I suppose. This is scary for Vikings fans. We're saying here. This is the analogy you're going for.
No, but basically, Kirk Cousins is brilliant at 1 o'clock. He plays well in 1 o'clock. He plays well at 4:25 or 4:05. But don't ask him to play after 8 o'clock at night.
Yep, that's it. Justin Jefferson's heating up. 12 catches, 154 yards, and the Vikings offense finished with 429 yards of total offense. So, good performance by them, on the offensive side of the ball, but I just think it should have been more comfortable for them, really. And I think that's what's going to take this division to the maybe week 18, or I think it's week 17. The Packers play the Vikings at Lambeau. So,
well, I think that this division, the way the Packers are playing, could be over. But now, because of my analogy, I'm so looking forward now to Thanksgiving. Can't wait for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, because it's the Bills Lions, Cowboys Giants, and then Kirk's the Thursday night game.
Oh, okay.
He's got the Patriots.
The Patriots. Okay. All right. We're actually moving on to them right now. We're doing well. So interesting. Patriots beat the Lions 29-0 in their throwback red uniforms at Foxborough.
What the hell happened?
I don't know. It's the Lions are a strange bunch. They had the number one score in offense heading into this game, and had scored 10 points in each half of every game so far this season. At least 10 points in each half of every game.
And then got nil.
Yeah, no Swift or Chark, and St. Brown played, but he's a little bit banged up, so he couldn't really get a foothold. But they're only the second team in NFL history to ever enter a game with the number one scoring offense and then get shut out. So
it's, do you know, Bill Belichick knows that he's got this kid, Bailey Zappi, who we'll get on to him in a second. But he's obviously told his defense, look, boys, I don't trust this fella. But you guys have got to turn up. And they turned up.
Yeah. I think that, Bailey Zappi was pretty good. 17 for 21, 188 yards on a touchdown pass. Saying that, the Lions did lose 5 defensive backs in this game, including Savion Smith, which looked to a really nasty, horrible neck injury. So fingers crossed he's okay. Not anything you really want to see happen on a football field. But regardless, we say on this podcast, you need to execute when the ball's in your hands, and Bailey Zappi did a fine job of that.
Yep, the kid can play, and he's doing the basics well.
It's very clean for him.
Do the basics, you win games.
Yeah,
pretty simple. And Patriots are doing that. They're running the ball well. The defense stood up when it had to. And I know you're now going to have people going, well, it was the Lions. The Lions are playing well this year, and
but not on defense though.
Well, yeah. I mean, can they not just play? Just play offensive snaps only.
No, they're mad and just go offense only. I think that Bill Belichick really knows how to game plan. Like the execution from top to bottom was absolutely brilliant on Sunday, and with a stronger roster, I really think this team could compete for the division title. I don't think any team means more, any coach means more to the team than Bill Belichick, because he can put them in games that they really have no business of really being involved, like being a part of the contest with, if I'm quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got so many Super Bowl rings and you've coached teams to Super Bowl rings, and I mean, I know you had arguably the best quarterback ever, and that helps you get rings as well. But you still got to play defense as well. Patriots are doing that. I think they're still 3 years away from challenging Buffalo.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
when Josh Allen's salary cap number gets too ugly and they can't retain anybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, at the moment, Josh Allen is quite cheap.
Did he not sign just a big contract?
Yeah, he signed a big contract, but I don't know if it comes into force straight away.
Oh, maybe somebody's still on his rookie deal.
And then, Stephon Diggs will go, and then Von Miller will go, and then, eventually, this is what happens to people.
But yeah, no, good performance by the Patriots. They're back on track, and that division again, really not much in it.
But it's Buffalo and everybody else. So
yeah, but I mean, we've seen that they're vulnerable. They can be beaten.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that the Jets are anything impressive, but they've had a resurgence. I think the Dolphins can get some stability at quarterback for get a break, then they'll get things moving again. So it'll be that division's going to come to the wire.
Well, the rumor is Buffalo's to play all their games in Miami in September. All their games.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Seahawks 32, Saints 39. This was just a weird game all over. I think the Seahawks have had quite a lot of weird score lines. 48-45 last week, 39-32 this week. It's not something you see that often.
You see, this is the thing with Seattle. They're very competitive. And this is why next week for me is my most exciting week that I'm looking forward to. Because Seattle have Arizona. And I made a prediction on this podcast. I made a prediction offline to you. I made a prediction to someone else. Arizona had to be 3-3 to give Hopkins a chance.
Yeah.
Now, Seattle could win that game next week.
Yep.
I mean, we all expected Seattle to be, 0-5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody expected them to beat Denver.
Denver, yep.
Nobody expected them,
Well, we had the Lions last week. We had the Lions to win.
Yeah.
So,
nobody. I mean, based on how the Lions were playing, nobody expected them.
Mm-hmm.
It's Seattle's a strange franchise, but it's a wee bit like, everyone's betting against them and they're just going, well.
Yeah, exactly. For our audio listeners, Chris just showed the V's.
Yeah. I keep forgetting we're on audio as well.
We're both, yeah.
Let's just give them the two-fingered salute and going, you know what?
Yeah.
We'll show you. And they're competitive enough. Mm-hmm. And Saints, though, played well yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Taysom Hill had a career day, 3 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. I mean, I don't know if this is me just being crazy or anything, but who would have thought that the Saints offense would be better if they didn't have a guy with a broken back at quarterback?
See, I can't say anything because I quite like Taysom Hill.
Mm.
You know how much I love my running about quarterbacks. I just love guys that run about.
Mm-hmm.
And see if that's your strength. Play to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be fantastic to win games of football.
Mm-hmm.
Football is the easiest game in the world. It is easy.
Mm. If everything goes together.
You have 4 chances to get 10 yards. Surely. When you're on that much money, you should be able to do that.
But on the other side, you've got, your defense, you look at it, it's like they've only got, 4 attempts to make 10 yards. And you know how egotistical defensive players are. We can stop them. They can't come into our house and do this to us right now.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Saints, I think they're a quarterback and a wide out away from playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if they had Michael Thomas there, it would be different. But they don't, unfortunately.
I'm banned from calling him Slant Boy on the podcast.
Who banned you?
Was it you?
I don't know if it was me that actually did ban you. I just didn't like the fact you were slating my friend here.
Well, you who do you slate that I like? You slate Joe Burrow. Oh, I've got hair in my mouth.
He's not elite. I also like having a dig at Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, of course, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, but I mean, so will I. I've been very critical of him this season. So,
anyway, let's move on.
Well, I'm not finished. I want to talk about Gino.
I don't want to talk about Gino.
I want to talk about Gino.
Go for it then.
Dead quick. I thought Gino had, another pretty good game. Made play. He's made an outstanding number of plays out of the pocket so far this season, and he made another big number of them all day today. He was 16 for 25, 268 yards and 3 touchdowns on the day, which, losing Rashad Penny doesn't help, but, they've got my friend Kenneth Walker, who had a touchdown, his first touchdown of his career. And, I really, really do think that regardless of this result, because of the way the division's going, the 49ers were the only team to win in the NFC West yesterday.
The NFC West is 3-2, 2-3, 2-3,
2-3,
and 2-3.
2-3, yeah. So it's still wide open. We just don't know. Every team really has its glaring weakness in that division. We don't know what we're going to get from Jimmy G. The Rams O-line is terrible. The Seahawks are what are we really? The defense maybe. The Cardinals defense again. So it's just
no.
Well, yeah. Regardless of yesterday.
No. We'll come on to that another section. Cards defense is for real.
Yeah, no, for sure. We'll get one more in before we go for a break. Seeing as you're so desperate to not talk about Gino, we'll talk about Jets and Dolphins. Where the Jets, the dog, ran out as a winning 48-17 against the Miami Dolphins. The Jets snapped a 12-game losing streak against AFC East teams with an emphatic victory over a Dolphins team left looking for answers. They're now down to their third string rookie quarterback, Skylar Thompson, who's 25 years old, 25-year-old rookie.
Is that not embarrassing that he's younger than me and playing in the
NFL? You were just born in the wrong country. We would have both gone pro.
That's the thing. Like, well, when I played it in American football, I was a kicker. That's it. I don't want to get hit.
But
my job put the thing through the posts.
were you good? Did you hit any clutch game winners?
Couple of times.
There you go.
Couple of times. I like the extra points though.
The extra points. Yeah. I wanted to be kicker for the Pyros alongside playing quarterback if I went back for my second season. But obviously I dropped out of university, so didn't. But I was said because we were always going to go like down quite a bit. We would always end up going for 2. I never really kicked other than kickoffs. So I suggested, right, I'll kick. I'll be the kicker. I'll be designated kickers. We just said, right, who wants to kick? And they would just line up and do it. I said, if we've got a stability at kicker, that's a good precedent for the rest of the team.
Well, yeah, talk about dog of the week.
Dog of the week. Well, let's talk about the other quarterback first. Is the Jets hit the Dolphins all day. Thompson was hit 15 times and sacked twice. And now a lot of that was on him, but what can you really expect from a rookie that was thrust into an unfavorable situation? Yeah. Held on to the ball too long. It was always not really going to work. It was rough. He was also picked off. I don't really have Zach. Yeah, typical rookie. I don't think the dog Zach Wilson was anything to shout about. He wasn't unimpressive, but I think a real star for the Jets on offense was Breece Hall. Yeah. 197 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. And I think the touchdown, he probably could have had more because Michael Carter took like 3 of them on the 1-yard line.
Yeah, I know that's the thing that's really annoying. I mean, it's like tonight, for example, I've got a bet on, which I'll tell you off air. Mm-hmm. And it's like Edwards-Hilaire's to get like 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. And Edwards-Hilaire will march them all the way down to the 1-yard line, and then Jerick McKinnon will take it over.
Or they'll throw it to Travis Kelsey.
No, I mean, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think for rookies, they have to learn, and there's an issue because it's not as if the guy can snap it to turn around. There's a big guy running towards me. I can chuck the thing sideways out of the seats. Mm-hmm. He's got to try and do something. And you could have Jalen Wardle, you could have Tyreek Hill, you could have Mike Gesicki. Mm-hmm. Say if you're under duress all the time, you can't find any one of those guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's not a bad result for the Dolphins, considering everything.
They're still alive.
And I think Tua should be back maybe a couple of weeks' time.
You'd hope. Although, I mean, maybe some people don't hope with his obviously unfortunate brain injury. Right, we'll go for a break, and then when we're back, we'll hit the rest of the early window games. All right, then. Let's go for these remaining games. Buccaneers 21, Falcons 15. Now, this game was mired with controversy, no more than the roughing the passer call on, was it Deion Jones on Tom Brady? I can't remember.
Grady Jarrett.
Grady Jarrett on Tom Brady. Look, people say, oh, Brady getting calls from the refs again. And I used to be like that, but look, referees make bad calls. This is the way of life in the NFL. The really good teams don't need them or can rise above them to win. It's just how it goes, unfortunately. The refs, it was a bad call, but the team can't get on their mind like, Brady's getting all these calls again. Like, yeah, bad call, move on, plays over. Just as if you would if they converted what was it, roughing the pass was 15 yards, just if they've completed a 15-yard pass. That's the way you have to look at it, unfortunately.
I know. I think, though, it's what it was because it was so ridiculous rather than...
Yeah.
I mean, it does suck the life, and we'll come on to it later on in the show about another roughing the passer call. Look, within this league, Roger Goodell want to protect your star quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's face it, you would rather turn on the TV and watch Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes
Mm-hmm.
than turn on the TV and watch, I don't know, Justin Fields and Davis Mills.
Yeah, or Kyle Trask and Chad Henne or whatever it is.
I mean, I'm not going to slag off, whoever I'm not going to slag off, those players. I mean, it's hard enough to make it in the league, but technically nobody wants to see you play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but,
no, they want to see the stars.
The Bucks won it, 27-15. Well, did it affect the game? Well, no. Because even if you take the 7 points or the 8 points off of the Bucks, they still win.
Yeah. So it was 21-15. Sorry, that's the 27.
Sorry. Say again, sorry?
It was 21-15 to the Bucks.
Sorry, 21-15. Well, okay, well, he missed the extra point. So you take the touchdown off, right? It goes to overtime, and you would probably still fancy the Bucks there. I mean, ref made a bad call. You move on from it, and it happens in life. I mean, the only defense of it is maybe the ref saw something that we obviously don't see.
Yeah,
there's obviously rule changes come in through the season, etc. And obviously, of course, with the Tua thing, we don't want to see quarterbacks getting hurt. But ref made a bad call. We move on. Bucks got the win, and of course now lead that NFC South.
Yep, that's it. No, that's it. Signed off on it. Is I'm not interested in the grumbling. The referees make bad calls. This is what you signed up for when you became a fan of the NFL team. They see these things in real time, and unfortunately, maybe it's dumb that I don't think roughing the passer can be reviewed, and maybe that's something that will get changed if this continues to become apparent. As you alluded to, Chris, we did have another one on Monday Night Football, but just not interested in the grumbling. If you were, you can rise above it. Teams have done it before. Do you know what I mean? No Kyle Pitts or Cordell Patterson kind of exposes the lackluster Falcons offense. Wasn't really impressed. Marcus Mariota kind of exposed. Not really that good again. Made a game of it, to be fair to them, but not enough. Falcons also allowed Leonard Fournette to have a really good day as a pass catcher. 10 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. So good day for him. Tom Brady improves to 11-0 versus the Falcons, which is really impressive. You know what I mean? It was really good. That includes playoffs.
Super Bowl.
Yep, Super Bowl 51. Yep, there you go. So yeah, we have this. It's it sucks for Falcons, but I'm sure they'll be fine. They've done well to be 2-3 right now and going at the Bucks and made a game of this one. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
They caught the Buccaneers a good time, to be fair, and give them a scare. So yeah, let's keep going. Titans 21, Commanders 17. What did you think?
Again, there's clear issues with Washington. I mean, they couldn't really stop Derrick Henry. Well, who can?
Who can, yeah.
I mean, but even so, I think within the off-season, they really have to develop protection. I mean, if you look at Washington, they have a decent running back.
They've got 3 really good running backs, to be fair.
Decent defense. Decent wideouts. I don't know how many picks they've got in next year's draft. I'd just draft offensive linemen.
Top guys. Ron Rivera said after the game that the reason that they're so far behind the rest of the pack in the NFC East is the quarterback, and Carson Wentz is he's doing what he can.
I don't agree with that, because if you actually look at the 4 quarterbacks in that NFC East, Jalen Hurts hasn't faced an elite defense yet. Daniel Jones is amazing, but limited. Cooper Rush. I mean, really?
Yeah.
And then obviously Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the 4 quarterbacks are fairly equal. And I know you're going to go, oh, but Jalen Hurts is 5-0.
Yeah, that's a team game.
He can't throw and catch.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't think it's totally fair for all the blame to be put on Carson Wentz here for this. There's a lot of execution that's not happening across the board. You know, the defense has a lot of, you know, good names. You know, I don't think Chase Young's ready yet, but he'll be back at some point this season, and maybe we'll see an improvement then. But you know, it just seems strange that the coach would essentially hang the quarterback out to dry for that. When we know Carson Wentz's confidence is you know, at the earth's core right now. He's none.
Defensive head coach doesn't want to blame any defensive players, so you blame the quarterback.
True. Kind of onto this game. I thought the Titans defense played pretty well. They came up in another big moment. That's back-to-back weeks, I'm pretty sure. They picked off actually 3 weeks in a row, if I'm not incorrect. They picked off Carson Wentz at the 1 yard line with 6 seconds left in the game. And the Tennessee defense only allowed 1 third down conversion all game, which I thought was really, really impressive.
Of course, things like this are impressive. And, you know, it goes to show when you've got a defensive head coach, he plows more time into defense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, Mike Vrabel's obviously one of the great defenders of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but great win for the Titans. And, of course, that AFC South, you just need to try and get a head in it, really.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's still wide open this far. You know, in week 5, we kind of expected that maybe, you know, somebody would maybe be a little bit further back. You know, we all thought the Colts would be better than they were. And, you know, the Jags would be worse than they are. But the fact that, you know, it's pretty much neck and neck. And to say that the Texans are in it, despite, you know, starting the season, 3-1?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got a win the other day, and you know, who knows? Okay, that's maybe a little bit ridiculous, but it's the fact that it is wide open.
Any given Sunday.
Exactly. I think that one of the problems with Washington is their offense is pretty splash play dependent. There was the 75-yard bomb to De'Ami Brown. He caught another 30-yard bomb, I think, later in the game. Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel both made big plays to keep drives alive. And, you know, as good as they look, as exciting as they are when they happen, you know, they may be few and far between, and that's for any offense in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That is it. What you have to basically, you have to make the 3rd and 1 completion is just as good as the 3rd and 27 completion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just because the 3rd and 27 completion is a massive pass, and then, you know, the guy goes up one-handed and catches it.
Mm-hmm.
You only get a first down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know? They don't get points out of it, you know. It's
exactly.
The only thing I suppose it does is I couldn't even really say if there's much in it. Like, whether a team converts a 3rd and 1 or a 3rd and 20 plus, it still breaks the back of the defense, regardless of where you are in a field, regardless of the situation, you know, and it changes things. But splash play dependent it's not a formula that can really be, you know, relied upon to win games, and that is a big reason as to why the Commanders are 1-4.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see when they get players back in. They're pretty banged up, I think, especially on the defense. But I think this is going to be a disappointing year for Washington, and who knows what we're going to see from Carson Wentz in the future. I mean, if he starts playing better, who knows? But that's a big if.
Well, they're on Thursday Night Football this week.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm glad I'm working at Friday morning, so I actually don't have a choice about watching it. I mean, I suppose I do have a choice any other day, but it's like, I want to watch it, you know.
I'm working Thursday night.
There you go. I'm sure you'll have so much fun. I mean, to be fair though, you could put the game on for the residents, and they would just settle off to sleep.
Possibly.
Yeah. There's a formula for success for you there. All right, then. The big one. I say it's the big one. It's not really, but there was big news that approached yesterday. This is the pod curse strikes again. It's been a while. 49ers 37, Panthers 15. And as a result, Matt Rule was let go after the game. It was released. The news was confirmed yesterday. Matt Rule has been removed as his tenure as head coach. 11-27 overall record. And 1-27 record when they don't score more than 17 points, which is not good.
I don't think they should even have given him the season.
I think this,
But
it's not as if they were bringing in a young quarterback that needed to learn a system, maybe needed, some, stability at that position. They didn't need a rookie head coach, but how is Matt Rule any better than a rookie head coach?
Oh, I can't. Well, by the way, Matt Rule, let's not slag him off. Because he's been removed for the next 48 months, he's going to make $843,000.
That's all right.
$3.6 million to be fired.
I thought it was $40 million he was making this year. To see it this year. And if he takes a college job, the Panthers pay the difference in his salary. So
it's mental.
It's crazy. I mean, that's the jackpot, really, isn't it? It's like you sit and get fired as a head coach and you still make the bank.
I know. I'm wondering if my boss could do that for me.
If only. On to the game. I thought Jeff Wilson played pretty well. He's been filling in for Elijah Mitchell with the running back's injury. He had 17 carries for 120 yards and a touchdown. And he's been part of a pretty reliable backfield with Tevin Coleman making some big catches. He made a lot of big catches on Sunday in the game. And the 49ers offense converted 7 of 12 first downs and were really ruthless in moving the ball. They didn't give the Panthers an inch. And, it really showed. Baker Mayfield has a high ankle sprain. It looks like he's going to miss some time, but the Panthers are just a mess. I really do think they are the worst watch in the league right now because, you'd think maybe it's the Texans, maybe it's the Bears, but, both of those teams can move the ball. But the Panthers they just can't seem to get anything going on offense.
I think now what they should do is just tank.
I agree. Get Bryce Young next year.
Yeah, Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. And then maybe, because obviously Steve Wilkes won't be there, then what you do is you go and you get an offensive head coach and you basically say to him, look, mate, you have 2 years. Don't fire the guy after a year. You have 2 years to get this right.
Yeah.
I've got you the best player in college. Now do something with him.
Yeah. Make it work.
I mean, it's who will be on the market, obviously, coaching-wise. I mean...
I suggested D'Amico Ryans, the current 49ers defensive coordinator, but the irony of getting replaced by the coordinator that essentially lost you your job, that has to sting.
No. You don't go defense anywhere. You go offensive. You literally go and you find offense. If he's fired at the end of the year, I mean, do you go and try and get Jason Garrett? I mean,
he played quarterback. You know what I mean? That's a good hire for, a team with a rookie quarterback coming in.
I mean, because obviously, he'll be out of a job after losing at Lambeau. Do you go and get Matt LaFleur? You know what I mean?
Fuck's sake.
I know I've got you losing in the playoffs. You haven't even made them yet.
I know. That's the thing, isn't it? It's like...
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, this 49ers team, I think, they are in a very strong position with the rest of the division, just looking a little bit shaky. And they should really look to capitalize over the next couple of weeks. We'll see. We will see.
Well, they have the Falcons this week.
So I'm going to look at the line for that. That could be my lock.
I haven't seen the line yet. I'll have a look later on.
We'll have a look. We'll take it in our preview show. But yeah, that's everything from this game. Panthers just diabolical, and don't know if it's really going to get much better. PJ Walker is going to start, I think, against, or is it the Rams this week?
I would have to look.
He's 2-0 as a starter in Carolina, so
he's going to save the franchise.
It could be the next Cooper Rush. Yeah, that news broke.
Cooper Rush has Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. He has Christian McCaffrey and not a lot else.
Chuba Howard, I don't think that's too bad. I think there's a huge drop off from the two running backs there.
Well,
the two are comparison. We say Zeke gets hurt a lot, Christian McCaffrey gets hurt a lot, and Chuba Hubbard and Tony Pollard both kind of rising stars. I'd say that's not a bad situation to be in, really. The coaching staff could be better, but hey ho.
Anyway.
That news about Matt Rule being fired broke. It can't have been more than 120 seconds after we stopped recording the last segment yesterday. So podcast, it strikes again. It's been a while, but maybe it's going to be a while again. Let's hope so. All right, let's keep going. Eagles 20, Cardinals 17. Eagles keep rolling. They're 5-0, still the only unbeaten team left, but I think they just about hung on. They showed a lot of, they're vulnerable. Like they're clearly, they showed weakness and vulnerability in this game against the defense, which has been pretty poor in all facets this season. Jalen Hurts struggled to move the Eagles offense after having 2 rushing touchdowns to begin the game and race it to a 14-0 lead. That's a big worry for me. Let's be honest though, I don't know if it's fathomable or reasonable to expect a quarterback to keep up such a huge pace for 17 games all season. Even the MVPs quarterbacks have had one bad game every year, right? And they still win. So I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is going to win MVP, but maybe that's just a little bit of a concern to look at.
I'll let him, before obviously I have a rant about the game, I'll let you get your stats out of the way and how good Jalen Hurts is, and he's gonna be the MVP of the Super Bowl, and they're gonna go 17-0. Come on, I'm ready for it.
I don't really have much else. The game wasn't huge, exciting. I just thought Philadelphia's defense was pretty poor. They only sacked Kyler Murray once, and I know he's obviously slippery. And he pressured him on just 26% of his dropbacks, and he dropped back 42 times. So it's a big sample size to only be pressured 11 times. So
right, I watched every snap of this game because I like the American adverts. Now, that game was decided by the little midget wearing number 1, all in black.
Yeah,
he slides too early. And then you basically give Matt Amendola, who's basically had more franchises than I've had hot dinners. I mean, the Chiefs essentially dropped him, cut him. I mean, and then you're giving the guy a 43-yard attempt. And obviously on Fox, it shows you like what happened pre-game.
Yeah.
He missed every single kick from 40 yards over, wide right. Where did the final kick go? Wide right.
Yeah, just about. I think I did watch it and I thought it looked close, but it did just eke wide. So
yeah, but Cardinals defense is for real.
They were impressive.
I mean, I've been talking to a few listeners of the show. What they said, and my quote was, "You're the conservative one."
I don't think I'm that conservative in my picks.
No, not in your picks, just in your opinions.
Okay.
Whereas I'm the one that goes out and makes massive predictions and bold predictions. And I live and die by them.
That's it. Well, I think my locks the first 2 weeks, especially the Panthers in week 1, was a pretty ballsy move. But no, I think you could be right. My analysis is very this and that, and that's kind of how I make my decision on the analysis pregame. So
yeah.
But
whereas I just go for it. I don't care. I'm 3rd and 1 and throwing it deep. You know me.
And when it works, it's great.
And obviously, I said Cardinals have to be 3-3. They're now 3-3. They're 2-3. And this week they have Seattle.
Okay, it's winnable. 3-3. That's a good position to be in with a star wide receiver coming back. Maybe things change for the Cardinals and they make a bit of a push.
Things will change when DeAndre Hopkins comes back, because then it's double team DeAndre Hopkins, which leaves Marquise Brown 1-on-1, and no one's better 1-on-1 than Marquise Brown.
Yeah, no, I could see it. So Eagles stay rolling, but I think that their time as the only undefeated team left is going to come to a close very soon. To their opponents next week, who we'll talk about now. Cowboys 22, Rams 10. And I think for the first time, Cooper Rush gave a reason to put Dak Prescott back in the lineup as soon as he's healthy. I don't think he was bad, but it was his worst performance so far. They sacked him 3 times and forced 2 fumbles, and that's a big problem. I don't think Dak makes those mistakes.
I think with this game, I'm going to give, obviously, Cowboys deserve to win. No doubt about that. But the Rams are a mess. I mean, it's probably happened obviously before, but I could actually see them going from Super Bowl to 4th place.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, there's an issue with Matt Stafford's elbow.
Yeah, he's finished. He's finished, in my opinion.
Right, I think obviously you cannot come out physically and go, my quarterback's elbow's hurt. But I think McVay should have realised and gone, Matt, how are you, son? And he's gone, I'm terrific, coach.
Yeah, I think Matt Stafford's obviously a competitor. Look, his persona in Detroit was he was very, very tough. He played with a separated shoulder, threw a big pass to win the game with that injury. He's tough, but I think all the hits and all the battering he's taken over the years has just added up, and it's come to a really tragic conclusion this season. 308 yards, 2 fumbles, and a game-sealing interception. I don't think he had a touchdown pass. I think it was it Cam Akers that rushed it in?
So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's 3 weeks in a row with no touchdowns for Matt Stafford. This is becoming a really big problem, and I would be very, very concerned as a Rams fan. No, it's not all on him. I think the Rams offense generally as a whole is a big problem, and they keep spotting teams' points earlier on. Dallas was up 9-0 earlier on. They sacked, fumble, strip sack, and that kind of thing. They have 1 offensive touchdown in their last 9 quarters, and just with the playmakers they have, you just can't. Allen Robinson is out there walking. He's out jogging. You look at his stats, and you just think, oh, maybe he isn't that good with what's been happening, and maybe it's a product of the system. But Odell Beckham Jr. came in no problem last year and filled in that role, and Allen Robinson had a full off season to figure things out, to get the playbook down. But OBJ caught a touchdown in his first game as a Ram. So, not impressed with Allen Robinson.
Does help when your quarterback throws to you, though.
Yeah, true. But it doesn't seem to matter. But I think Matt Stafford could be finished.
Okay.
I know it's a big, bold take, but I just don't see him improving with, especially this offensive line. And I just think, every quarterback every player in the NFL has got a certain number of hits they could take. And eventually, once that number gets eclipsed, it just doesn't click anymore.
Well, Joe Burrow must be 2 or 3 from it, surely.
Yeah. But, I think Matt Stafford may have unfortunately eclipsed the number of hits he's had. It's a random number in every player in the league. And once they're done, it's finished. So I could be wrong. I hope I am, like Matt Stafford. But, it is what it is, and if it's over for Matt Stafford, then the Rams could be getting a nice wee quarterback next year. We'll see. Right, let's keep going. 2 games left. We're doing well. Sunday Night Football: Ravens 19, Bengals 17.
Having Justin Tucker's a cheat code. I mean, you may as well
reliable.
I mean, he's made something like. I mean, I don't think he's missed a field goal like 2 seasons or something. It was crazy.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, my first proper Sunday night game where I've actually managed to stay awake and watched every single snap. And, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's different for me, obviously, because I kind of have to stay awake. But, it does help when the games are exciting.
Yeah.
And, I think 1917... that final drive just to get them into field goal range, and obviously Justin Tucker. But again, Lamar's just Lamarvelous.
Do you know, I have to disagree with that. I really think that the Ravens offense was very, very unconvincing. He settled for 4 field goals. Lamar missed 2 walk-in touchdowns on back-to-back plays. And Baltimore rarely just squeaked by blowing a 3rd double-digit lead this season. I just, I don't know.
Lamar can't throw and catch.
Yeah, no, of course. But I just think that this was one of those games where Lamar's, I don't want to say deficiencies, but I think his I don't want to say weaknesses there. Maybe like
has to use his legs more. He's a running back quarterback.
Yeah, I think the things you can exploit in his game, or things that he can exploit in his game, were not on show very well on Sunday night. And I just think that, he's still going to get paid a ton of money next year. The Ravens are going to be fine. But I just maybe just something that could lead a little bit concerned. This is the Ravens' first win at home in like 7 games or something.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those where you've just beat your division rival.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It does gloss over it.
Yeah, no, exactly. But winning a rivalry game is huge for confidence. And, the Bengals are now 0-2 in division games.
That's why Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal, because he can beat Bears and the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
He
has a winning record against the Vikings. So, but that's the real rival in that division. Back to this game. The Bengals offense, I think, was just as poor. They've got there's not so much a settling issue. It's more of like an execution issue as such. They have too many talented players. The 3 wide receivers, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, too talented not to be scoring 24 or more in every game, regardless of the offensive line's situation. Jamar Chase was pretty ineffective. Ravens neutralized his threat. He only had 7 catches for 50 yards. And, that happens when you're a top receiver. Don't get me wrong. But,
his first 3 catches was snap, turn to the side, throw.
Screens. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's not Jamar Chase's game.
Yeah, he's a deep threat,
But
well, good win for the Ravens. I think both these teams are going to be fine. They'll really get things figured out down the line. I think both these teams are probably going to go to the playoffs. I've flip-flopped on who's winning the division. Still don't know. But I think both these teams will be fine. I wouldn't be worried. Just maybe an off day for the offenses. And yeah, we shall see. Be encouraged by the Ravens defense, though, considering they're so banged up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, then. Finally, we have Monday Night Football. Chiefs 30, Raiders 29. Chiefs come back from, was it 17 points down or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so closer than it should have been for the Chiefs, really. Did think they were going to kind of make this one pretty comfortable. But you maybe see things kind of getting to move with the Raiders. But the brilliance of Travis Kelsey, who scored all 4 Chiefs touchdowns. It's a career day for him.
God, he scored 4 touchdowns. They were like 7, 4, 1.
Yeah.
8.
No, I mean he wasn't like outrageous. He only had 7 catches for 25 yards in the whole game. But
I know. I had to get over 50 completion, 50 yards.
Tough sitch. So
I went 5 players to go over 50 yards or rushing over 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And he let me down. The guy that's supposed to be Mr. Dependable.
I know, right? Yep. You should have just gone anytime touchdown score for Travis Kelsey. And maybe last touchdown score. I don't know if he scored the last one. I can't remember.
He was 40-1 for a hat trick.
Oh, well, there you go. I was in and out of sleeping in this one. Just don't know what it was. Couldn't stay awake. But regardless, I think that Vegas kind of beat themselves on this one. 11 penalties for 99 total yards.
No. This game comes down to one moment in the game. 2 moments in the game.
The other, yeah.
Chiefs got a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Went for 2 points to make it a 9-point game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why not just line up, kick the thing through the post, make it 8 points, and then, okay, he's forced to go for a touchdown and then a 2-point.
Yeah.
Fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
On the other side of the ball, Raiders got a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
1 point behind. Kick the thing through the post.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We say it every week.
Yep.
And he goes for 2 points.
Mm.
Why? Why? The guy on the other side of the ball is called Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
At least go for it, because I think Mahomes would have been a wee bit more conservative and just tried to go for a field goal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, complete boneheaded plays from Josh McDaniel.
Yeah.
Super Devonte's arrived. He absolutely scorched the Chiefs secondary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And do not give me any crap that it was against rookies. He doesn't pick who the Chiefs play at safety in corner. First play, a 58-yard touchdown. He got one later on in the game before that 2-point play, which was another long, deep one.
That was on 4th and 1, wasn't it?
The first one, yeah.
That's a big play call there.
Then, of course, then obviously after the first touchdown, he then got 2 penalties for 48 yards. Then he got robbed of a decent catch. He had possession of that ball. If that had been any other receiver in the league, it would have been fine. But the game is overshadowed by the assault on Derek Carr from Chris Jones.
It's another bad call, and unfortunately, the Chiefs proved they are a good team. They rised above it, and they rose above it, and they won.
I think the issue with the call was the fact that it was like 4th down, and I think the fact that the ball came out and Chris Jones recovered it. That's the issue rather than the Tom Brady thing.
Yeah,
I think that's a big changer.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it anytime a penalty like that, essentially wipes away the momentum from the defense, it's a real backbreaker and a morale breaker. But the Chiefs they came back from it and they won the game. So, the referees make these mistakes, and fortunately it didn't cost the Chiefs a win in this one.
Yep.
Because you don't want, it's only a 1-point game. You don't want, this to that the scoreline to be decided by one bad referee call.
Yeah, that's the thing. The only reason why this will get more coverage than the Brady one is because it was the only game on the TV.
Yeah.
It wasn't like head away in the 6 o'clock window.
Yeah. Yeah, it was national TV. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, the Raiders had 11 penalties for 99 total yards, including one where they managed to stop the Chiefs and hold them to a field goal attempt, which Matthew Wright missed, but. Malcolm Collins. Is it Collins? I have no idea how to say that, so I probably didn't. He was called for defensive holding, allowed Patrick Mahomes back onto the field with a fresh set down. So, you can't be doing that against Patrick Mahomes. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. That's how the cookie crumbles. But can we just talk about Devonte Adams after the game? Pushed over an ESPN crew worker. I'm sorry, I lost all the little respect I had remaining for the boy. He's a professional. You just can't be doing that kind of thing. Yeah, he's human, but plenty of other players have been on underperforming teams and not acted like a giant baby. I'm sorry. No, that's completely unforgivable for me. The guy, he says that the guy walked in front of him or bumped into him. It's not true. You just saw him and thought, I'm taking my anger on you, and he threw his helmet at one point on the sidelines. No, I'm sorry. This meltdown, glorious. I'm loving it. But you can't be doing that, and hopefully he gets some kind of punishment just to so that it doesn't matter if you're a star in this league, you can't be doing things like that.
I'm not going to try and defend him, but he was frustrated. Next time you get frustrated at work, I want you to do that.
Yeah, but that's the thing is if I pushed a customer at work because I was frustrated, I'd be at the door. You know what I mean? So it's a different thing, and it's like I look at it this way. Imagine if Aaron Rodgers did that after the London game. Oh my God, could you imagine the outrage? Aaron Rodgers is an arsehole. He shouldn't be in this league. What a thug. Karen Rodgers. Oh, they'd be losing their minds. So that's the way I look at it. Is if it was somebody polarizing, somebody people don't like even not even in a like a life standpoint issue. Like, we know Aaron Rodgers is weird. The people he associates himself are weird, right? But with regards to even if it's like Lamar, people don't like Lamar because they think he can't throw and he's a running back. If Lamar did it, we're like, oh my God, Lamar, why are you doing that? But we're running out of time. We need to get out of here. Regardless, game's over. Devonte Adams can't be doing things like that. And I've lost all respect. This is going, I think. I can't associate that.
I changed my pick now to the Chiefs to win the division.
Oh, is that right? Aye.
No, I did say last night, whoever wins the division, that wins that game, wins the division.
Yep. No, that is true. That is true. Right. Well, we'll get out of here. That's been a fun one. Thanks for hanging out with us, as you always do. Check out the End of the Fourth Facebook page, which is End of the Fourth Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, which is End of the Fourth Pod. On Twitter, it's the same thing, but instead of the word fourth, it's 4th, End of the Fourth Pod. Check out Let's Talk Sport on Twitter, which is at Let's Talk Sport. We are on YouTube as well. If you're watching this, you're on our channel. Subscribe, like, comment. Check out their channel. That'll be mentioned in the description. You can check that out. Or if you're listening on audio, check out Let's Talk Sport YouTube channel, which I think is just Let's Talk Sport. All lowercase, got a blue logo, that kind of thing. So thanks for listening. Chris, thanks for coming on as always.
No problem at all, mate.
And from me, B-Hizzy, ciao for now.